Escala's wish. The door creaked open, and Escala was caught out in the open. An athletic woman in her mid-20s stepped from the cabin, her black boots crunching against the packed dirt. Her armor, black leather, battle-worn and close-fitted, hugged her frame, its red-trimmed seams tracing reinforced panels along the chest, shoulders, and elbows. A dark burn scar edged into view at the opening of her cuirass, an old wound half hidden, yet impossible to miss. A crimson sash rode her hips, its ends flicking in the air as she moved. The way the leather shifted with her stride reminded Escala of a predator, coiled, waiting to strike. The woman's hair, jet black streaked with a single line of white, was tied back in a short, unruly ponytail. Her features might once have been called beautiful, but Escala's eyes went first to the scars. One carved straight through her right eyebrow, as though a blade had sought to split her face in two. Another tugged at the corner of her mouth, hinting at some brutal fistfight. The most striking ran from her cheekbone, slicing across her lip and down to her chin, an old wound that lent her beauty a dangerous edge. At her hip rested a finely wrought knife, its presence as casual and natural as if it were an extension of her hand. She locked eyes with Escala, standing just feet from the fire, and her hand instantly moved to the knife. Her green gaze gleamed with sharp amusement, and the wild edge of someone who would jump off a cliff just to see the bottom. It swept over Escala, quick, assessing, not entirely kind. The woman took in Escala's empty scabbard, ragged tunic, and tear-stained cheeks. She eased her grip on the hilt and said, "By the hells, who are you?" Escala's hands twitched at her sides, fingers brushing the empty scabbard. She looked like she hadn't slept. Mud-caked, scratched arms, red eyes, leaves tangled in her long blonde hair. Then she straightened, shoulders back and chin up, trying to look like she belonged, and said, "I'm Escala Winter, a pixie from the Court of Dreams." The woman erupted into laughter, startling a crow in a nearby tree. "A pixie?" she choked out, clutching her stomach. "Oh, that's rich." She wiped her eyes. "Where are your wings?" "They were removed," Escala said stiffly. "Removed?" The woman, still giggling, began circling Escala, eyeing her from head to toe like she was searching for a hidden trick. Her gaze lingered on the cuts and scrapes on Escala's arms. "You lose a fight with a bush, or did you take a fall and bump your head? Maybe eat some hallucinogenic mushrooms." "No," Escala said. The woman was unconvinced. "You sure? You're dirty, scraped up, weaponless, and talking nonsense about being a pixie. I'm just making sure that you don't have a concussion, or some kind of mushroom thing." Escala lifted her chin. "I'm fine." The woman cocked her head, lips pursed as if to say, "Really?" "And I am a pixie," Escala added more firmly. "I thought pixies were tiny and had butterfly wings. I hate to break it to you, sweetie, but you're an elf." "I wasn't always." The woman gave her a long look. "I'm on a quest," Escala added, "to remove the boulders from the true cycle so I can return to the Court of Dreams." "Say what now? Do you have any boulders in your life I can help remove?" The woman whistled. "What have you been drinking? I need some of that." "I'm not drunk." "Well then," the woman said. She yelled at the cabin. "Rodin?" No answer. She called again, louder. "Rodin!" A muffled voice grumbled from inside. "What is it, Harper?" "Get out here. You've got to see this. We've got a real-life pixie out here." A few moments passed. She yelled again. "Rodin, a pixie, hurry. She wants to see your boulders." "A pixie?" came a groggy voice from behind the door. The door creaked open, revealing a lean, pale man with broad shoulders and muscular arms, his sharp elven cheekbones and pointed ears mirroring Escala's. His long black hair was tied back in a tight bun, the tips of his ears peeking through. A jagged scar ran beneath one eye. Under the other, a small tattoo, a black slash like a falling tear. Faintly glowing tattoos curled down his forearms like whispered incantations, pulsing softly in the low light. He wore scuffed brown leather armor, patched more for utility than show, and sleep still clung to his face. "Boulders? What are you talking about?" he muttered, rubbing his eyes. "Come on, Rodin," the woman said with a wicked grin. "The pixie says she's from the Court of Dreams." He glanced at Escala, then at Harper, then back. "Okay," he said dryly. "Where's the pixie?" Harper pointed at Escala with both hands, her lips twitching with delight. "Right here," she said, barely holding back laughter. Rodin looked Escala up and down, then turned back to Harper and burst out laughing. Escala's eyes flared. "I am a pixie." Rodin snorted. "Sure you are, and I'm a unicorn. Where are your wings?" "They were removed by court order," Escala snapped. "Oh, of course," Rodin said, folding his arms. "And where's your sword?" Escala glanced at the empty scabbard. "I, lost it. There was an orc," she quickly added. "Really big. He took it from me." "Did you lead him here?" Rodin asked, suddenly scanning the tree line. "No," Escala stammered. "I ran away and lost him yesterday. I found your cabin because I was hungry, and I smelled your cooking." Rodin and Harper shared a look, then studied Escala with wary curiosity, each trying to figure out what she was really after. She looked at each of them in turn and added, "I'm hungry, but I'm sorry if I disturbed the harmony of your marital dwelling." She started to back away. "I'll just go." Harper and Rodin burst into laughter. Rodin slapped his knee while Harper clapped her hands, laughing so hard she doubled over, gasping for breath between fits of hysterics. Escala looked confused. What? What did I say?" Harper wiped a tear from her eye. "Marital dwelling," she clapped. "That's a good one." "I assumed you were a mated pair. You're living together in a single-room cottage. Isn't that what married couples do?" Harper coughed, stifling another laugh. "We're not married." "Oh." Escala tilted her head. "Well then, why not?" Rodin opened his mouth, closed it, and opened it again. "What's that have to do with anything?" Escala raised her brows. "Look, I'm not from here, and I don't know your customs and ways, and I don't even know your full names. Perhaps that's the problem." Harper, still giggling, gave a little bow. "Harper Deroe, fire-starter sorceress, swordmaster, and a walking headache to anyone who deserves it, and, on occasion, a monster hunter." "I'm Rodin Hammerfell," he said, folding his arms across his chest. "I'm a scout and tracker for hire, and for the record, definitely not her husband," he added, nodding toward Harper. "Not her husband?" Escala said, her voice perking up. "Why not? Don't you love Harper?" There was genuine surprise in her question. Rodin choked. What? That's not... I mean..." Harper turned on him, hands on her hips, smirking. "Yeah, Rodin, enlighten us. Why don't you love me?" Clearly she was enjoying this. "I didn't say I didn't," he groaned, rubbing his forehead. "Could we not have this conversation?" Escala glanced at them, baffled. "But you live together, and in just these 5 minutes, I've heard you bicker and laugh like mated cliffbirds. From your own words, you hunt together, share meals, and you're telling me you're not in love." "We're business partners," Harper said with a dry chuckle. "Monster contracts, killing beasts, dangerous errands, escorting caravans, basic adventurers for hire. That's it." "And no romantic obligations," Rodin added. "Oh," Escala said. "In the Court of Dreams, you'd be legally soul-bound by now." Harper snorted. "Then it's a good thing we're not in the Court of Dreams," Rodin muttered. "Thank the gods for that." Escala folded her arms, still trying to make sense of it. "I just don't understand. How can you spend so much time together, share your lives so closely, and not fall in love? Maybe it's because you've never kissed." Seeing their confused looks, she said, "You haven't kissed yet, have you?" "That's none of your business," Rodin immediately snapped. Harper laughed. "If my choices were between a drunk billy goat and him, I'd kiss the goat." Rodin glared. "Well, that's why you're not in love," Escala said, matter-of-factly. "You'll fall in love after you kiss." She nodded, as if that settled everything. Harper and Rodin exchanged another look that plainly asked, "Is she serious?" Rodin said, "I think there's a lot more to it than that." "Oh, there is," Harper said. "Or Rodin would be head over heels for the large woman who darned his long johns at last year's harvest festival." Rodin turned beet red. "I just kissed her on the cheek." Harper said. Ah, but you kissed her, though. And she was my aunt, Rodin yelled. Hey, I didn't make up these love rules. She did, Harper said, pointing at Escala. She said you'd fall in love with a kiss, Harper added, straight-faced.